Hey everyone, welcome to a little bit of woo woo. I'm your host, Jill Thomas. You guys have been writing in the comments that you want to know what's going on with the July 15th astrology issues. Not an astrologer. But fortunately, my good friend Mara Clear Spring-Cook agreed to come back, and even though she's super busy, and talk about this issue because you guys wanted to know. So I'm going to introduce Mara. Mara Clear Spring is a shamanic practitioner, teacher, Reiki master, and Munay-Ki mentor, and she knows all there is to know about astrology, even though she would say she doesn't. Thank you so much, Mara. I appreciate you coming in and talking about this issue. What do we need to know? What's going on?
Jill, it's enough, okay, it's a couple of things. First of all, it's all part of a greater whole, all right? Right now, we are feeling, depending on who's watching this, you come at this from different angles, but no matter what part of life you tend to focus on, you're noticing there's just a lot of disruption, Uranus. There's a lot of aggression, Mars. And these two planets are coming together in what's called a conjunction, which means they align up in the same spot of the sky from the Earth point of view on July 15th at 7:04 a.m. in the morning Pacific time. So parts of the world, that's actually the 16th, but it doesn't matter because this energy, as I've said, it doesn't matter what channel you're plugged into, you've been feeling this build, this extra tension and stress that's been rising and rising. So when you asked me to talk about this, I thought, what a perfect time for me to take a break from all the other things I'm doing and jump back into doing videos because I love doing them. I love sharing with people, and it's just another way to reach out, right?
Yay.
And yeah, I know. And I've gotten a chance to catch some of yours, and gosh, there's just so much going on, and you've been staying on top of it, and that's been inspirational too, Jill. Really,
you're putting out I'll take that compliment. I'll take that
You
compliment.
should. You've been putting out a lot of good information and giving people a chance to just kind of go, wait a second, I should think about that. And if there's anything I can do to be helpful for people, that's one of the points I like to put emphasis on. Stop, breathe, think. We get very reactionary. We are so programmed right now to see a thing and let our response meter go from a 3 to an 8 to a 12. We're being poked all the time, and successive repeated poking elevates our stress regardless of how well we think we're handling it. So it's so important. And I know you're going to ask me at the end, what should people do? I'm going to start with it.
Oh man, yeah, what do people do?
Be so thoughtful about what you're consuming. Everything you eat with your eyes and your ears will go into your heart and your belly. And do you really want it there? And it's okay to see less, to watch less, and to participate and be part of your life more. Okay, there. I got off my high horse.
No, I love that. That's actually perfect because it leads me right back to the next thing is I love that you describe consumption not just as food, but as media, because I think that's a big part of the challenge right now is that we're really being pushed in conflict, and it's insane. Tell us more about how is this manifesting in people's individual, if you don't mind, in people's individual lives? I'm seeing the road rage. I'm telling you, I'm seeing the road rage. What else?
Just in a household, one person is very much following a certain philosophy, shall we say, and the other is on the extreme other side. And this becomes a topic that then kind of spills over into everyday life experiences and creates a lot of tension and disruption and pain and conflict in a relationship. So that's just in somebody's house, like you were saying, on the road. Holy cow. I deliberately avoid what we call freeways here in California as much as possible because I don't want to be part of the mass insanity that I'm witnessing right now. I'm no longer in the fast lane, girl. I'm over by the ones by the exit and on ramps and just kind of going slow and watching out, putting a Reiki bubble of protection around myself. For those of you who are definitely woo-woo, we do that, right? Whether you're practicing Reiki, shamanism, or whatever, you're putting that protection bubble around yourself. Not because you don't want to have life experiences, you don't want to have accidents. And that's Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I love the way, and those of you who are not from California, you know what I'm talking about. People would rather take you off the planet than let you cut in to their lane. And I'm seeing even more of that now than normal. It's never great, but oh my God.
It seems that when people get behind the wheel of a car, or when they're riding their bike or their skateboard, they're on some sort of device that makes them feel more empowered to go forward and make their way, they kind of start dropping down their ability to perceive that other people might want to be in the same place that they are, or at least compatibly driving next to them, or even think they deserve a spot more than someone else. And isn't that a great analogy for what's going on in the world in a lot of ways?
Do you think we're going to see more car accidents right now? Is that in the
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Mars conjunct Uranus, a disruption and accidents, because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, which is earth, grounding. It is wanting to have a foundation, be stable. But these two fellows come in. Mars, the god of war, the yang principle, the initiator, the activator, the aggressor, is lining up, having a meeting, joining energies with Uranus, the rebel genius, the
interesting.
planet.
I'm thinking,
yeah,
politics here. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. No. This is what's happening. You know, we're seeing a lot of this filtering out into a physical world where people have no idea there's astrology that's involved with us, or that we are involved with astrology, depending on how you look at it. So Uranus, as the rebel genius, symbolizes expect the unexpected. It's like, if you thought things were going to go this way, well, you know what? That freeway we've been talking about, it's under construction, and you're going to have to take a detour. Yep. Oh, and by the way, there's a huge traffic jam because nobody else knew either. So it's like that. It's like that. So when these two are meeting, and whenever they've met in the past, you know, amazing things have happened. For example, have you noticed there have been a number of earthquakes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sinkhole. If you guys haven't seen that sinkhole, you guys, that is the craziest video I've ever seen in my life. Google Illinois sinkhole if you don't know what I'm talking about, and then, you know, you're welcome. Yeah, you guys got to see that video. You've seen it, right, Mara?
No, is that the next? Really?
After we get done, you got to Google Illinois sinkhole. It's insane.
Earth changes are part of this conjunction energy. So, like I was saying, earthquakes, sinkholes definitely count. Volcanoes, fires, drought, and excessive flooding and rains. Anything related to earth conditions, the weather, even the solar flares and the storms that come in, all of that is in the venue of the earth, of Taurus, the sign of Taurus, which this is happening in, the conjunction. And when you have Uranus in Taurus, that's the aspect of Uranus bringing in the unexpected, bringing in the wild coyote factor. Just be prepared for what you couldn't even imagine would happen. You know, whoops, there's the meteorite lands in your yard. Yeah. Well, okay, you know, I took out my vegetable patch, but damn, now I have a meteorite in my yard. You know,
that's worse.
It's like, it can happen. Huh?
Did you know how much meteorite is a pound? Oh my God, you'd be rich.
You'd be rich, right? It's like the weird, but that's it. It's like that. It's like from a very strange circumstance, you might come into great fortune.
Interesting.
That is part of this energy. It's insane.
So how long are we going to be? I mean, you know, is this kind of like Mercury retrograde, where for a month you maybe shouldn't sign some contracts, or you know, don't sign contracts on things that you haven't already, that weren't already in the works. How long is this going to go on? Is there any kind of rules of thinking other than just like don't grab your pitchfork right away?
Yeah, leave your pitchfork by the compost pile.
So, what about your fire? What about your firearm? Just kidding.
Well, I'm really careful about that. So when we're talking about any kind of aspect, It kind of depends on the planets that are involved. So if you have an aspect with Mercury, even though you described, Mercury retrograde it's kind of it's a 3-week period basically, because Mercury, but it is moving very fast though. All right. Whereas Uranus takes 84 years to go around the sun. And Mars is about 2 years. So when we're talking about this particular conjunction in Taurus, really, we could say maybe think of a few weeks before and a few weeks after. But the important time is right now. This is being recorded on the 12th of July. So we're 3 days before the event. So I would say 3 days before and 3 days after, the week surrounding July 15, 16 is when you want to be really careful. Okay. If you don't need to go on the roof to fix something, I think I would stay off the roof during this week. I wouldn't go do any extreme sports. I'd stay off my skateboard. I just wouldn't take that chance. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bring up volatile subjects. I wouldn't try to initiate change in relationships. I would watch out for testy people. You don't need to get involved in that. They're on their own path of using the extreme energies. You don't need that. So I would watch out. You don't need to argue. Arguing is especially not going to work for this. Instead, use the magic that's available. There's an interesting aspect to this conjunction that I don't know when it'll happen again. In astrology, we're always talking about the planets and even the moon and what we call dwarf planets and the sun and the earth. These are all, we just call them all planets in astrology, right? But we also refer to the stars. Those are the constellations, right? And also the fixed stars that have their own energy as they are part of the constellations. So there's a particular star that aligns perfectly or almost perfectly. It's like a few little minutes off. It's at the same 26-degree mark in Taurus. And that is called Algol, Algol. And Algol is, I've been seeing information about this, but I really haven't paid attention to it until you and I decided to do this. And Algol is really an amazing exploration of magic and this shadows and light balance. And the mythology of Algol is fascinating. So I'm going to recommend that anybody who wants to learn more about fixed star Algol, go to Ksenia Moore's it's probably a podcast. I saw it on YouTube, and she brought her husband on for an episode. His name is David Matheson, and I'll send you the information so you can share it in the show notes. And his website is starmythworld.com, and he's using he's associating the stars and their mythology and how our predecessors in ancient Greek times and before really explained the stars in their own way with these myths, and he ties it all together so beautifully. And in doing that, and he's speaking about Algol, which if you go at the initial interpretation means the devil's head. If you go deeper into what he's explaining and what I saw on other sites, it's really about the transformation that happens when someone holds space for your shadow and helps you literally kill it so your light can emerge. Can you see how that would relate to this disruptive forces and masculine aggression energy of the Mars and Uranus conjunction? These two are bringing in a 1-2 punch, but sometimes it takes that kind of energy to take apart what isn't working, to break through the shell, the callus, so that something new and beautiful and inspired can come through. And in the myth of Algol, it's associated with Medusa and Andromeda. And what's kind of neat about that is, since this conjunction happens in Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is the earthly feminine. So it is like the feminine influence can be strong to help this masculine aggression that is being supported by this whole conjunction, this whole alignment.
Interesting.
Did I lose you there? Did I go too deep?
No, I'm fascinated by this. This is very interesting. So, we don't have to get into particulars, and you don't even have to answer this question if you don't want to. But in terms of political, is this drama that's going on, and we don't, we
won't go there because we don't want to
Yeah, but is it going to get to a level of peace within the next 3 weeks-ish, in some way, in some form?
Peace.
No, okay, that's fair. That's a fair.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be peace. I think. Okay, can I? I'm just going to say this as careful as I can because I don't want to mess with whatever magical algorithm gods there are. But let's just say that if we go back to what I was saying at the beginning, we are easily pokeable right now, and our whole world is designed to get our attention. Our most valuable asset that anybody who's promoting anything wants is my attention. They want your attention. They want my attention because sometimes our money follows that attention. I'm sorry for coughing. Sometimes our support follows that intention, right? That attention. So, oh, this is great. I'm going to cough.
No worries. Well, let me kind of, now that we're on this topic of attention, I would love it if as we're having this little coughing moment, which is totally fine, each one of you just hit the like button. That would be really nice. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And
like
if you haven't subscribe would be great. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, and it's just a kindness that you're doing that supports both of our efforts. And that's so nice. Thank you so much for doing that for me. I really appreciate that. I know it doesn't cost you any money. It just means that I might pop up once in a while on your feed. I have plenty of things I've subscribed to that never pop up on my feed. It's kind of disappointing, actually. But yes, if you don't mind doing that, that'd be great.
That's a really good point. When you subscribe, that doesn't mean it'll show on the feed. It just means that you've given us a bump.
I honestly think, it's just a side note, but I honestly think that sometimes YouTube, kneecaps some of the stuff that doesn't show up is the stuff I'm the most interested in, which I would say is probably the stuff that is a little more controversial.
I love that happened with the whole. I took off my headset so I wouldn't. I was trying to distance.
I actually mute too. You probably didn't.
I love that you did that, and I hope everybody could appreciate that was wise. So I love that I started coughing when I was talking about exactly that thing.
Interesting.
Okay. So if you want to go really woo-woo on this, there's consciousness that is deeply and intentionally invested in not allowing voice to be heard. It's amazing where this consciousness has woven its dark roots and affects our lives on a daily basis. So what I think is going to happen is all this hype, all these words, all these what somebody I listen to calls the panicked commentator syndrome, that is just stirring up. How much of that is all related to what is actually happening?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we believe it as truth? Go deeper. So I think because it's not a sustainable rhetoric for more than 3 weeks, something else will rise to the top of the we want your attention pile of tools, and it will go on to something else.
Yeah, I was seeing that too.
I don't think people need to be panicking. I think Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I thought coughing was coming, so I'm like, I'll just jump in here. I was seeing that in like a 3-week range, something else was gonna pop up on the news cycle, and I hope it's nothing like a nasty earthquake. It could very well be something that popped up in the news cycle that's gonna. A squirrel over here, and we're watching the news, looking at, and we've forgotten completely about this other thing. So that's what I'm seeing.
Stupidity is not hard to achieve, and I think that some insane, crazy thing will become the new. Oh my God! You must hear about this, and that's what's going to happen. Jill, I don't know if it's going to be an earthquake. It very well could be more earth I hate to use the word disaster, but just really strong earth experiences that we have. And it could be an earthquake. It could be people involved, like you know how at the beginning and the end of the beginning of the year we see a number of people exit, you know, famous celebrities, people who are in the public eye, they exit. So I think we're going to get some surprises about people who are in the public eye. And we can even step away from the political arena and just say anywhere, from the sports world to the entertainment industry to I don't know what. But I think that that's part of what's going to happen as far as the big shift away from this hot topic news cycle to the next.
It's interesting too, because that's right around the time of the Olympics.
There you go.
You know, I mean, I just hope nothing bad happens to the Olympics, but you know, that's right around the time. That's
Yeah.
One more question on this, and tell me, I've been hearing a lot more about hacks. I don't know if that is part of this, you know, more aggressive, I would say, hacks. I know there's a hacking event that's going on right now that's kind of taken out the auto parts business and the buying a new car business. If you're trying to buy a new car, you've already heard about this. Is that associated with the sign, or is that something else going on?
Both.
Okay.
So Uranus rules Aquarius. Aquarius is about technology, and the use of cyber warfare. I mean, this cyber warfare has been around for a while, and it amps up during election cycles. All right, there's great competition over our economy. Some want it to look good, some want it to look bad. And what's a great way to affect the economy to disrupt Uranus, the flow of goods, right? Cars are a big part of our goods. Huge part of our goods.
Oh, right? I know. And all said and done, when this ends up, I don't know how long they're going to have before they get the final butcher bill on this one, but it will be billions of dollars lost. Billions of dollars.
Well, you know, cybersecurity should be a higher priority in all companies, whether we're little solopreneurs or Ford. It's just
this one
huge.
Wasn't Ford's fault, by the way, but yeah, I agree.
Oh, was it? I didn't know which
it was
company
not Ford.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't Ford. It's a company it's
basic large auto company. I should have been.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, absolutely agree. We all need to be. I think this was a good wake up call in a lot of ways, because it was, you know, we all kind of looked at our own security and go, well, I don't know, is anything still password, or any of my passwords still password? You know, for any of your accounts. I mean, think about the things you opened 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, no, you. I think it's important to. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic, but because you can never be perfectly secure, but you can be smart.
I would agree.
You can do a regular review. You should change your passwords, and as little payment information as possible out on the net. I think that's a good policy, don't you?
I 100% agree. Is there anything else along those lines that I didn't think to ask you, because I didn't know all of the ways this could show up? Anything else? Any other ways this could show up?
Let me make sure. I made notes.
You're awesome.
Just because I feel like, I wanted to say this. So because we're talking about what most people are going to call a malefic or a bad thing, it's not necessarily a bad thing. So while you're watching out for natural earth disasters, earthquakes, fires, droughts, people fighting over floods, people fighting over territory and food, your foundations being affected, unexpected job losses, unexpected home repairs. We already talked about accidents and just power struggles. You know, people duking it out at work, or neighbors not getting along, or countries at odds with each other. On the other side of this whole period of time is helping us move stuck energy. There's stuff that isn't working, and we're leaving it in place, and it needs to go. And when it cracks open, something more beautiful can emerge. We can experience that magical transformation that algol goes through. Algol transforms because it's not just a star, it's two stars. And as they orbit around each other, one is a dimmer star, it's a gas star, so it blocks the light. It's a really a fascinating addition to what's going on here. So I would say to work with all these energies is when things are up in your face. Whoops, do you see me do that? When things are up in your face, to you know, do your best to step back, put some distance between you and what then the hot thing that is wanting to scald you with all its intensity, and notice where within you you're getting triggered, and don't give your energy to that trigger. Step back, breathe, set it in the earth, and ask, you know, what am I going to learn from this? What have I just figured out I need to do? For us in Southern California, it's update my go bag. You know,
Yes.
between earthquakes and fires, it's always good to have a go bag. You know, make sure you have that extra bit of pet food that you could take with you, or a carrier to put your pet in. Where are all your important papers? I'm not saying a horrible thing is going to happen to everybody, but by doing those things, we are empowered to advocate for ourselves in difficult situations and to take better care of ourselves. And I think that's what I would do, is I would go through what do I need to update in my life that is going to make it easier if things are rocky ahead.
So let me ask you one final question on this, unless it brings up other things in which you should keep talking.
That's okay.
I love what you said about the stuck energy. I love what you said. So let's say, I'm going to give you a scenario. So let's say somebody's got a project and been working on, and we're going like 80 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden they hit LA traffic and it just stops. Does that mean the next few weeks it's going to start to move again, or is it going to be on pause for a while, or what should we expect with that? Because a lot of people are asking me about stuck projects, stuck things, house
Really?
was supposed to sell and didn't sell. What's anything like that?
Yeah, no, I just had that experience with one of my clients who was really stuck on something. They'd reached the last 0.5% of the 100% of the project, and they could not get past it, and they were eating themselves alive over it. And so I did a little shamanic work, and the bubble burst, and boom, it's done. Okay. So yeah, so I'd say,
like that idea.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that awesome? I freaking love the magic part of this job. So I would say that, yeah, there's just a huge opportunity to, like, what do I do, Jill? If I get triggered, if I get really mad about something, you know, I intend for that energy to be used by me in something else that's more helpful, that supports me, be it a workout, cleaning something, or turning around and jumping on a different project, so I can at least finish that and then come back to the place where I'm stuck. If you're stuck, let's use your house selling example. If you're stuck selling your house, well, it's time to go a little deeper. Are you really sure you're ready to sell it? Are you asking for the right price? Do you feel good about moving? Is there something about that house you need to release? Did significant things happen there for you? Does it represent the end of a marriage? Or is it something that you grew up in and now you're reluctant to let it go? There might be energetic connections you need to release. Also, on the other side of that, it was a couple that were divorcing, and actually the divorce was held up because they could not sell a property they had out on Coronado
Very
Island.
Common. Yep.
And so she comes to me and she's like, hey, I'm willing to try anything. And so I do my shamanic thing. And part of that means that I actually go in altered reality to the house, and I work with the land spirits, and I work with the energies there. And I discovered some things that needed to be shifted, and I shifted them, and the house sold. So having energetic work done by somebody else can sometimes help you. If you've got that I got to do it all on my own syndrome, you will be alone. But if you have that, I deserve to have support, be it from my guardian angels, my spirit family, my practitioner who I can give a phone call to, then you have a lot more options. Uranus for solutions, Uranus, you're taking action, Mars, and fixing the foundations, Taurus. see, it all kind of ties together.
I love it too. And you can do that work remotely, right, with clients?
Oh yeah, just like you. You know, we do Zoom or phone calls or sometimes email. Or oh God, I'm glad you mentioned that. Can I mention something? I've been doing this thing called the Shamanic Healing Master Journey. So people sign up for this, and that's it. They don't have to do anything else. On a specific day and time, I do a journey. I bring them all in. I do this healing work for them. And then before I've even sent the journey report out, because I'll make a recording to describe what I experienced, they're sending me emails. Mara, I feel so much better. Mara, my son called me. Mara, I could feel energy moving in my body. So these master journeys are a great way to receive healing without you really having to participate other than giving permission and registering. I only do 24 people at a time. So yes, remote work works. And in my world, shamanism and Reiki and Tantra and all these energy modalities, we actually never have to talk. The work can just be done if you've asked for it and given permission.
I love it. I've done a few of those. I know I've done a few of those journeys. They're amazing. Everybody should do it. It's very inexpensive. And you don't have to show up at a certain date and time, but you can. I mean, I can tell you, I felt the energy. Oh, Mara must be doing her thing, and then I get the email with the recording, and it's like 20 minutes long, and it's kind of a meditation. It kind of pulls you in. It's a little bit like a reading, and I can tell you, I've had those, and I'm like, she's just talking just to me, but I know there were 23 other people in the group because the email said there would be. So it's an amazing experience. I would highly recommend it to anyone, and I love that you can do this work remotely. It makes sense because in the spirit world, right, we don't have to be physically in the same vicinity. We're all working in spirit, which first of all doesn't have watches, and also doesn't have the limitations that we have. I love that.
Mars and Uranus, they're not talking to me. I'm not having a conversation with them in the real time 3D, but they are talking to me. They're informing the energy that's inside of me and all around us right now. So we are all connected. We really are. And I'm thanks for the kudos on the master journey. It's just been a wonderful experience, and I'm going to keep doing them.
Okay, so you get the final word. Anything you want to say before we log off?
Everybody or anyone who's watching this, please, you deserve to create a field around you of intention, love, compassion, and respect. If you're not getting it, then it's time to look at what's in that field. This is a perfect time to do it and make some changes.
Love, 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 love it. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. I will put the links in the description to how to get a hold of Mara. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And, like I said, you could like it. Would just be so nice. I would really appreciate you. And also go to Mara's channel. If you're watching this on Mara's channel, because I think we're going to be putting this up on both because it's easy to do that. Same thing. Put like Mara's channel, like and subscribe. It'd be so great for both of us. And we'd really appreciate that. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. This was recorded at 2 p.m. Pacific on July 12th. So that's when and I'll put it up as soon as it renders. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.